Hey guys, it's Brian with the Midnight Mechanic, and today we're working on blue again. So Chase is at work right now, but I came out here and I'm doing a little bit of work on this car. I'm going to go ahead and try and finish up the disc brake conversion for the front and install some sway bar end links because those were completely shot. Now I already installed the end links. I'll show you what they look like. They're just some regular AC Delco ones, but I did need to trim them just a little bit. I'll show you why I had to do that on the other side. But right now on this passenger side, I'm installing new lower and upper ball joints and that disc brake conversion kit like I did on the other side. So we're going to get to it. Let me show you what I was talking about with those sway bars at first. All right, so right here is what I'm talking about with that sway bar end link. You see it extends up and it was hitting the castle nut on that spindle. So I had to trim it off. I know it looks kind of hacked because I didn't realize it was like that to begin with. So once I got it installed, I just stuck the angle grinder in there and chopped it off. All right, so on this side, it's a little bit cleaner because I knew what I had to do after doing the other side. So I just went ahead and trimmed the thing off after installing it. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to drop in this new upper ball joint, and then I'm going to get the tool and install this lower ball joint. So the way these ball joints work is the upper one has rivets that rivet it in. So we had to take an air hammer and knock those out, then clean up the holes and everything like that. The new ones come with bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this one in. Then I can go ahead and move to that lower one. So I'm going to install these lower ball joints. Now I need a special tool to do this because it's press fit. It doesn't bolt in like this one. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my tool. I'm going to go ahead and press this thing into this lower control arm. Then I can install the spindle. All right, so now that I have a new ball joint, because I messed the old one up, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in correctly so we can go ahead and get the spindle mounted. Now we can go ahead, bolt up this spindle. So here's something else fun that happens when you buy stuff from Amazon and it comes in and somehow this is in here. It's the wrong pin. I need a cotter pin, not this hitch style pin. Now I got to find one. I don't know where my box is of them in this shop somewhere, but that's where I'm at right now. I can't finish this because one pin that somebody put in the box wrong. All right, found the right cotter pin, went ahead and put that in. So now we should be good to go ahead and put the rest of this stuff on. Yeah, I put it together wrong, but I got it right this time. That's as far as I'm going to go right now because I need to pack these bearings to go ahead and install them. And it is really freaking hot. And I'm done because Jake left the door open. Air conditioning went out of the shop. I'm hot, but I got this on. I'm done. All right, I'm back out here. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this swap. It's hot, but it's not nearly as hot as it was. So I'm going to do as much as I can before I get a little bit overheated because it's about 104 degrees outside, which even with the air conditioning in a shop this big, still keeps it kind of hot. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pack the bearings, put the rotor on, get everything bolted together. Again, this is the way they sent it to me. This said right hand, so I'm installing it like this. Normally the vanes would go the other direction like they are in my other cars. This one said right hand. That's the way I installed it. Now we're going to install these brake lines that came with the kit. They bolt on just the way they would factory. Real easy to do, and they're brand new, so should have all new brakes on the front of this car. All right, we got them all bolted on, all the brake lines on, everything is tight. Now we can go ahead and move up, go ahead and install that brake master cylinder and proportioning valve. That way it'll work properly with the system in this car. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and install this new master cylinder. This one right here is for a factory car with factory front discs and rear drums. This one right here is for four-wheel drums, which we don't have anymore, so this is the correct one. They bolt up exactly the same, just the internals are a little bit different. And I'm going to do something that a lot of people are probably going to get upset about, and I am not going to bench bleed this. This is basically a new system, and it has all air in it anyway, so I don't really care about that. I'm just going to stick it on here and go ahead and start bleeding the brakes based off of that. And here's a thing that's going to make everybody upset. I don't even do that anyway, even if it wasn't a new system. I don't know why, just never done it, never really cared to. So I know a lot of guys will be upset about that, but oh well, I'm going to do it anyway. Now that we have that installed, the brake system in this car is done. We have the front disc conversion done. The rears have been redone before. So everything is set up and good to go on this thing. Now, the one thing you guys might be wondering is about the proportioning valve in this thing. I left the factory one on there. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I read a lot of information that said it would, it wouldn't. Sometimes the 71, 72s have a little bit different. I wasn't really sure. So I went ahead and I left the original one in there to see if it works. They say you can buy a new one that's about $90, but all my research showed it's very similar to the one that's in here. So I'm just going to try it and see if it works. I didn't really feel like bending new brake lines to put, a newer style one in there. So I'm just going to run with what is in here, see if it works. But right now we need to go ahead and start installing this Holley Sniper system. Once Chase gets home, I'm going to go ahead and bleed these brakes. Then we'll start installing this Holley system. So I'm going to go ahead and install the Holley Sniper throttle body on this. Now it has an Edelbrock carburetor on here that's kind of old. So we're going to go ahead and remove that and install the new Holley Sniper. I want to go ahead and install that first. That way I know where the fuel inlet and outlet is, so I can go ahead and install the regulator and figure out where I'm going to run the fuel lines. Now it's time to mount the fuel pump. Now, if you have a fuel pump, you want to keep it back close to the gas tank because these are generally more efficient pushing fuel than they are pulling fuel out of the tank. And you really don't want it up in your engine bay, making a lot of noise and having it pull all that fuel 20 feet or whatever from the back of the gas tank. So I'm going to use these fuel pump mounts. And what they are, it's like a rubber isolator, and you stick it in there and then you can mount it up. And I'm going to mount it up under the car, real close to the gas tank, kind of above the rear axle. There's a little cavity in this car that's a perfect space for it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and bolt these down to it. Then I'm going to go bolt it into the car. So with the Holley setup, it's a return system, but the car itself isn't an actual return system. It has a smaller return line that goes into it off the charcoal canister, but it's not like an actual return system. So I need to modify the sender to make it work. So the way it works with the factory one right here is it has a smaller piece, which I don't need. So here's the factory sender, and the way it worked was this guy went down in there, connected in that little thing. But this is a lot smaller, and I need the same size for these two. All right, so we have that in there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of JB Weld on both of these just to tighten them up a little bit, because really they're just press fit in there. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little JB Weld on the top side, clean it up a little bit, get it all mounted. Okay, so there we go. A few very poorly placed tack welds on a very poorly prepared surface, and it should hold. I'm going to put a little bit of JB Weld on it anyway, but for right now, it seems like it's going to hold. It's pretty tight, so we're going to put some JB Weld on it, get it in the car, start bolting things up. All right, so we have the supply line done from the fuel pump up here to the throttle body. Now I need to install this, the fuel pressure regulator. And the way this is going to work is it's going to come out of the throttle body into here and then out here back to that return line that I put on that fuel sender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it probably around right here. That way it's not in the way of the distributor cap. I can still get that on and off. The outlet is right here. So if I put this 90-degree elbow on, I mount it right here. It's a pretty straight shot over to it. Then it can go straight out the bottom, down over the bell housing, and run right along with the other fuel lines without getting in the way of anything. And right here, once we install the heater box again, it only goes to about right here. So if I mount this over here, it's going to be out of the way. And I'm pretty sure that at some point in this life, there was a fuel pressure regulator mounted here. I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of looks like it. There was something mounted there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and mount this right here. That way, it'll be out of the way. I can start finishing up the fuel system. All right, that one should be good. Now we can move over to attaching the return from that. Now right here, I got the new supply line. I'm gonna run this up to a filter and then I'm gonna run it into the fuel pump. Over here, I got my return line. I'm gonna put a fitting on that, bolt it up to the gas tank. Now I got a little bit of JB weld on that. I can't remember if I showed you guys or not, but I put a little JB weld on that sending unit. So all those lines there are solid now. So that's good. Then over here, these are the vent lines from the side. I don't want to run a vented gas cap. I'm going to run the factory one. But there's two vents on either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little dirt bike vent tube right here. So it allows, you know, air to go out or gas fumes to go in, but not out. Something like that. So you don't want the gas tank, as it's sucking fuel out, to collapse because it's not vented. So this right here will allow air to come in here and keep the gas tank from collapsing and keep it running okay without anything coming out and without any fuel splashing out. So if fuel gets to this, it's got a little ball in there, keeps the gas from coming out. So I'm going to run one of these on either side. I'm going to tuck it up here under the car. Then we should be ready to go bolt all these fuel lines on, start wiring this thing up. All right, there we go. Got those little vents mounted. Now I can come back, install the rest of the fuel lines. All right, so we got the fueling system done. We got the Holley Sniper set up on here. I ran a couple of down pipes for the exhaust that I got from pipes. That way we can kind of keep the exhaust away from the oil filter and the starter until we can go ahead and install the rest of the exhaust. We're going to do all that stuff in a little bit, but for right now, I think our projects for this video are done. The last thing we got to do is just fire this thing up. All right, so that's it for this episode right here. We got the car running. The tune is off. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we kind of played around with it a little bit. We just got to mess around. I think we got to install the oxygen sensor and stuff, but we know it runs. We got good fuel pressure. We got all kinds of good stuff in this car. We just need to put it all together. So next episode, we're going to go ahead, finish the exhaust on this thing, get the interior back in, and we'll take it for a drive. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this and you'll follow along to see this thing once we finally get it on the road after 26 years. So what do you think, Chase?
As long as I've been alive, I mean, I didn't think this thing was ever going to run again. It's pretty awesome to get to actually see it.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's cool to be able to work on this with Chase and little father-son thing. It's cool. I've been really enjoying this. So check our social media and subscribe to our channel so you can see more of this stuff. And don't forget to support cancer research. Follow the end of this video. You'll see a link to show you how you can help. Make sure you guys check that out. See you guys next time. All right, now we're going to install these brake lines that came with the kit.